Okay, so the more I hear about Onision, the more disturbed I am by the kind of individual that he is, and for that matter, that his spouse Kai is. I mean, now I'm hearing that Onision's 3-year-old daughter fell out of a second story window in their home, and when she hit the ground after this fall, apparently she suffered a fractured skull, like multiple fractures to her skull, I'm hearing. And she suffered bleeding in her brain as well, too. This is his 3-year-old daughter that he and Kai obviously were not supervising properly, that fell out of their second story window in their home. I'm sure that anyone that follows Onision or Kai and follows Onision and Kai will wholeheartedly agree with me on this particular point. Onision and Kai have no business being parents. They are grossly unfit parents, and child services, in my opinion, should step in and take these children away from them, take away any children they have, and these two shouldn't have any hope of even communicating with with any of their children until their children reach the age of 18 years of age or older. They are very unfit parents. What kind of parents? I really don't think it's that difficult or that expensive to childproof your windows. Put childproof locks on your windows. Or there's devices you can put on your windows so that your windows don't open more than about 1 or 2 inches, or don't open more than about 5 centimeters. There's safety devices you can put on your windows. But more importantly, even if they don't have safety devices on their windows, try being a good old-fashioned parent and watching your children properly. So this child suffered multiple skull fractures, as well as bleeding of the brain. And according to the YouTuber I was watching, this child did not suffer any life-threatening injuries, thank goodness. And it's unknown at this point, like it's believed that this child didn't suffer any, put it this way, it's unknown at this point whether or not this child has suffered any long-term or permanent brain damage. She's only 3 years old, her brain is still developing. So it's unknown at this point whether or not she's going to suffer any long-term brain damage as a result of this fall that so easily could have been prevented if Greg and Kai had been doing their job as parents and watching their children properly. And the thing is, this one particular video that I watched that was talking about this incident, there's some more disturbing things about this. First of all, I heard that according to the police report, that when this child fell out of the window, that they didn't even realize this child had fallen out of the window initially. Apparently, the only way they were alerted to their daughter falling out the window was that she was banging on the garage door. They claimed that they didn't realize she fell out of the window. I mean, I would think a 3-year-old who just fell out from a second-story window and just fractured her skull, provided that 3-year-old is still conscious and breathing, I'm sure a 3-year-old like that would probably be bawling her eyes out, screaming for dear life. I'm sure that child must have been crying. provided that that child was still conscious. And they didn't realize this until they heard the child banging on the garage door. And then another very disturbing thing that I also heard about this case as well too is that when it was initially discovered that this child had fallen, that Greg was initially snapping pictures of this child to initially Greg shot a video of his 3-year-old daughter on the ground after falling from a second-story window. What was he going to do with this video, I wonder? Was he even contemplating uploading this video to YouTube or some other form of social media? No, he is just one sick individual. I can only imagine what kind of horrid, disgusting abuse those children are subject to. I can only imagine. I guess they've done an excellent job of hiding their behavior from child services. Like the one thing that I've heard is that the police has done multiple welfare checks on the Onision household because I guess concerned citizens have called the police to or called child services or other authorities to voice concern for the welfare of people within Onision's household. Can only imagine some of the abuse. Like one of the things I've heard about was how Kai, Laney, Taylor, whatever the hell you want to call that person, but Kai, who used to go by the name Laney, and her YouTube name used to be LaneyBot. Apparently, Kai did a mukbang video, a Taco Bell mukbang video, where she was eating food from Taco Bell, and throughout the whole duration of this video, all you could hear was Greg just screaming at their preschool children. So we're talking young children that were, under the age of, say, 4 or 5 years old. And Greg was just screaming at them through this video. I still have many memories of my childhood. And no, I was not an angel child. As a matter of fact, I was a pretty mischievous child at times. But I have I have a fairly good memory, especially a long-term memory. But I have no memory of my parents even yelling or screaming at me until I was a minimum 7 or 8 years old. Like I have no memory of my parents screaming at me when I was like 3, 4, or 5 or 6 years old. So I was a minimum 7 or 8 years old. And let's face it, by the age of 7 or 8 years old, you're starting to learn right from wrong. You're starting to learn right from wrong as a child. So if you do wrong, then yeah, you are deserving of discipline. But I mean, well, Greg and Kai, as far as I'm concerned, are unfit adults, period. They're just unfit human beings, period. In my opinion, Greg deserves to be locked up in jail for crimes that it's alleged that he committed. Like if he's found guilty of these crimes, such as luring and grooming minors, as well as environmental crimes, destroying damaging wetlands, as well as tax crimes that he's committed that are in violation of the IRS. He deserves to be in jail, and for that matter, so does Kai. Just the more I hear about Onision, the more disturbed I get, the more I shake my head at him. I mean, the guy is being investigated by the FBI, or from what I hear that he's being investigated by the FBI for child grooming, for the grooming of teenagers. I just hope everything catches up with him and comes full circle one day. And the sooner that we get this monster off the streets and behind bars, and that he had no longer has custody of his children, the better it will be for everyone concerned. And talking about how Greg feels about his children, I'm just taking a look at another video here on the side. I'm going through the comments on this video, and this one person says and quote, they definitely only have kids because Greg has a pregnancy fetish. If that's true, man, oh man, how disturbing. How sad. Please, hurry up and bring this deranged couple of Onision and Kai to justice.